we are launching what we call the 1-2 call. Part of the 1-2-3-2 punch of conference calls that we have. The 1-2 is for the first Tuesday in a month, and we do this every first Tuesday. We call this the Get Going call. Everybody who's joined XANGO in the last little bit, we are welcoming you, giving a little bit of history and background. Everybody who has signed up since the last call or who hasn't been on a first Tuesday call, we do this bit of an exposition on who XANGO is, why we're doing what we do, why we love what we do, and maybe share a little bit of information to help us go forward. And then that 3-2 call regarding the third Tuesday of a month, that'll happen on January 20th, again 4 p.m. That is what we call the Get Growing call, and that is more targeted with business, highlighting some people who are doing great stuff, recognition, promotions, some just cool information about how to get your business going. We're looking at getting some exterior help this time. We may want to bring in some expertise so that it's not just corporate speak. We can do corporate speak about the history because we know it, because Gordon's lived it, and he sits here with a ruler and raps my knuckles if I say anything wrong. But we're going to roll into this. We're excited to have you here. So, Gordon, how are you, by the way? I kind of just started rambling.
Very well, Dave. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who just called in. And I should probably say officially, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Dave, what is the statute of limitations on the Happy New Year greeting?
We get until February 14th, if I understand.
Okay, all right.
Valentine's Day.
Super. So, Happy New Year. And I think there's no better way to start our first call of the year, really, officially, the first Tuesday of the month and the first Tuesday of the year.
Yes.
So I think we should start with a bit of a discussion of New Year's resolutions.
Love it. Let me do, if I can, if you will give me 5 to 7 minutes, that's my target today. I want to give this background on the company to anyone who's joined in the last 30 days, could be 60, 90 days, who might not know the full breadth and depth of the beauty of the XANGO story.
Absolutely.
I'm going to fly through that just to give people a little bit of background, obviously not to create the master's thesis on the history of XANGO, but really to maybe open up another opportunity for questions with the person who introduced you, who brought you in. You might want to find out about an upline 5K or 10K or 20K or Premier or above, and just ask more questions. Hey, I heard that Dave Webb guy talking about this thing on the conference call. I heard something referenced about this. Tell me more about that. So that's what I'm going to do right now. We'll just call this a brief background on XANGO, the company. And it goes back to, I'm going to go with your brother Joe. What we talk about with Joe's story. Joe and Gordon and a couple of other siblings grew up with Gordon Sr. and Gabriella in eastern Canada. Shelburne, Ontario. Population?
Hasn't really moved much. Probably about 3,000.
Okay, 3,000.
Yeah. I mean, that includes the greater Shelburne area, too.
Yes, and maybe livestock for all we know.
Probably.
Okay. But a nice, humble upbringing, but with two really critical differences that not a lot of other people had. You grew up with a natural products fanatic mother and a network marketing fanatic father. So, in the Morton household, we hear tales of what you guys consumed in the name of family health. If you had any kind of ailment, you got the roots and the herbs and the plants and leaves and whatever nature produced. You got Mama Gabriella's version of how to take care of yourselves with everything.
And, Dave, this is an absolutely critical point to start anybody on the discussion here. The health and nutrition industry continues to grow year after year, month after month. When we started XANGO in early 2000, 2002, it was considerably smaller than the industry is today. Health and nutrition has grown in leaps and bounds. It's one of those things. It's a lifestyle that so many people are adopting. But in the circa mid-70s, when my parents got passionate about health and nutrition, very fringe.
Tiny.
Yeah. Nothing makes you less popular in a farming community than having parents that are into herbal health network marketing driving a Volvo, which is what we do.
How was trading lunches at the elementary school?
Basically non-existent. There was no trading with the Morton kids. We had very freaked out lunches in 1970. Nowadays, everybody's kids at school, gluten-free lunches, and
right.
Everybody's in a health and nutrition. But back then, no. Yeah, white bread and bologna and a wagon wheel was pretty much what most kids had in their lunch. And
not the Morton family. Well, and that gives you kind of a head start. That's how we're going to treat that. With the atmosphere that you had growing up, you and Joe and your other brothers and your sister, you grew up in an atmosphere where you knew Mother Nature had great things to offer, and then because of your dad's influence with Nature Sunshine of Canada, Nature Sunshine products, he learned about this distribution model called network marketing, or consumer direct marketing, or multi-level marketing, or direct sales. A lot of different ways to treat it, but you guys had that as a background growing up.
Yes. The health and nutrition industry in general, Dave, can owe a lot of credit to passionate armies of direct sellers and network marketers. Some of them on the line. Like Ray rang in. Ray has been doing this for, 25 plus years probably, Ray, if you were able to speak up here. Educating people in the living rooms and in front of small groups and coffee tables around the globe for decades now.
I love how you guys talk about your family vacations growing up. You thought everybody went to a convention center and then swam in the hotel pool at night.
Yeah.
That was the vision you had for vacations that everybody went on.
I still kind of feel that way. So.
That's kind of your lifestyle now, isn't it?
Yes, true.
So let's fast forward then. So Joe and Gordon and others grow up in that atmosphere. Fast forward a few years, Joe finds himself living in Southeast Asia, and that becomes critical with the availability of a certain fruit grown there. Now, when I say you guys had a natural products background, seriously, there was not anything available in the marketplace that you guys didn't know about.
No.
You knew about black cohosh and bitterroot and ginseng and echinacea and soy and aloe vera, things that today we take for granted. Everyone on the phone call and even people not within the industry will know about those things because they've been more broadly exposed. But in the mid-'70s, you guys were at the forefront, the cutting edge of all this natural products background. So when Joe is living in Southeast Asia, he's presented with basically a dessert after a roadside cafe, gets a little treat on his plate, and it's a fruit. And he pops it open, and they tell him, you eat this little white part, it should be delicious, and Joe's kind of freaking out. What is this natural product that I have never been exposed to before, and why did it take me into my 20s to find out what it really is? But it's called mangosteen, he found out. Now, because Joe, we always tease him, he's the finder of the fruit. Joe did not, I'm going to break some bubbles here, Joe did not discover mangosteen, okay? Let's just clear the air right now. In the 1990s, Joseph Morton, living in Southeast Asia, did not discover mangosteen. But because of that background, natural products, and network marketing, Joe was uniquely positioned to help bring mangosteen on a worldwide scale that it had not had to that point. So if you go back, let's say if you count missionaries and service workers and Peace Corps and diplomats and tourists and servicemen and women, just within that group, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people who likely had been to Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, where the natural growth area is for mangosteen. Those people did not discover mangosteen. They enjoyed it. They were presented with it. They learned a little about it, maybe found out a little bit more. But Joe was in that position, you know what, this is something that would be great all over the world because of what he learned about its history.
Correct.
So your brother David, studying for medicine at that time, Joe says, Dave, I'm here in Southeast Asia. I just tried something called mangosteen. What can you tell me about that? And David, same answer. I have no idea. You guys just didn't know because it's a very, very concentrated pocket. And we're going back 15 plus years for when Joe tried this. And so he's tasting the fruit and he's asking about it, and people are telling him of the natural uses that people had, not just for the inside delicious fruit part. I kind of treat it like an Oreo cookie. The inside white cream is delicious, but you might not think of any use for the outside crumbly. Well, I'm overstating it, obviously. But Joe said, what else can you tell me about this fruit? And he learned that mangosteen has phenomenal properties. The antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory properties. Things that, to that point, had been studied on a very narrow scale within that part of the world. Universities, medical schools, medical research facilities studied it on a narrow level. But then when XANGO launched in 2004, and I am sitting across the table from the man who came up with the word XANGO, I love that part.
By the way.
Did I say 4?
Yes.
Well, that's when I started, and that's, to me, when the company really began. You're so right, Gord. I apologize. So when the company launched in 2002, the name XANGO just pops out of your mouth because it's this powerful, dynamic, two-syllable, fun-to-say word. And we said, we're taking the XAN, I say we because I'm sitting next to Gordon who did say it. Let's take the XAN from xanthones, and that's the name of that compound that is found within one of them. I mean, there are dozens of different kinds of xanthones, but these xanthones with their phenomenal nutritional properties Gordon took the XAN from xanthones and the GO from the middle of mangosteen, and that's where we get the name XANGO. It's been seen around the world by hundreds of millions of people. We actually did a study years ago. Hundreds of millions of people have seen the name XANGO, whether it was from sponsoring an event or a convention, or we do these great trips and we do charity donations, and we have the XANGO Goodness Foundation. The name XANGO is a worldwide phenomenon now. And here we are, fast forward 12 years. Boy, my math is off at this early stage of 2018.
It's early.
Okay.
Carbohydrate hangover.
That's right. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But we're now 12 plus years old, and XANGO has reached a level of penetration with the marketplace that people would have dreamed about. Mangosteen, if you look up mangosteen right now, just a standard Google search, you will find millions of pages.
Mm-hmm.
In 2002, that was not the case.
No.
There were a few dozen papers that had been done because, again, the properties on the fruit. You go back even further, Queen Victoria has this great legend of offering knighthood to anyone who could deliver to her fresh mangosteen, which gives it its kind of a funny nickname, the Queen of Fruits, because it really was that favored by anyone who tastes it. But here we are, a company called XANGO, 12 years later, and we are in 40-plus markets. We have exposure with millions of distributors and consumers, people who you and I talk to all the time who will not go a day without their XANGO juice. That's a straight-up fact. I am married to one of them, and I am another one of them. I think you and your household are the same thing.
Absolutely.
And so we're eager to share the phenomenal growth story of the company, but really the product is just half the story. The other half of the story is what we call compensation plan. And if anyone on the call is new to network marketing or direct sales or multi-level marketing or MLM, this compensation plan really is a distinguishing factor for XANGO. It's something that we are proud of. And again, I guess it's turning into a Gordon Fest because you also authored the compensation plan. You and your buddy Ron, guilty as charged. But you set this up so that, and I love how you put this, because, we talked about Joe's background, finding that fruit and asking the right questions to then connect with you and Aaron Garrity, your good friend, to turn this into a company. And then Gordon's other expertise was as an actual distributor, a network marketing distributor in the 90s, maybe even, I don't want to go too far back into the 80s and 90s, but definitely, before XANGO was even a concept. But with that background that you had, tell me just really quickly what it was like to be a distributor and find out something in your compensation plan had changed.
Oh, well, I guess even more so than that, Dave, as a distributor, and some of you on the line are brand new to the world of XANGO here, and let me point this out. Maybe you don't know a lot about our industry, and maybe you've got one or two experiences in the past, and it was confusing to you. The thing that I found as a salesperson in this industry is that we have a wonderful, wonderful way of compensation, but sometimes the compensation plans were complicated. And the cardinal rule of sales, anybody that sold anything from house paint to dress shoes, you know that the simple rule of sales is the KISS system. It stands for Keep It Simple Sales. It's just the cardinal rule of sales, and sometimes you get in network marketing companies, and the sales compensation program is so complicated that you need a degree in algebra, calculus to figure it out, and it just, you have no patience to figure out the comp plan. Our comp plan is simple, and as most people will know, life can be complicated enough. You don't want to have to spend 1,000 man hours trying to figure out how you're going to be compensated. Our compensation plan is fair, it's balanced, and it's something that is simple to easy to understand and run from the comfort and safety of your own home.
One of my favorite parts of this is, there's a lot of illusion people make to, you have to get in early. You have to be a ground floor. That's, back when it was easy to do. No. This is something that you actually have a better chance at success starting today than in those first days, because we have gone through the ringer on systems and computer software, and we know how to tell our story, and we have successful people. At the early days, you didn't have a millionaire.
No, there's
one person.
And there's a few folks on the line that rang in. I could hear their voices, a few of them, that were part of XANGO in year one, and they can tell you that it was a very, very pared down offering of what you got as a distributor and as a distributor kit, and the interface to the web and what was available tools-wise. I think we had 7 fax sheets that you could take and fax to your friends. That was it. I think that was pretty much the extent of our sales tools offerings in the early days of XANGO. And so you're correct. In 2015, it's hard to say that now, 2015, you have so many more things at your disposal to start your XANGO business.
Yeah. And one of the greatest parts about this, and you'll hear us talk about this all the time, and I hope that anyone on this line is taking notes, because these are the things that you can use as what we'll call arrows in your quiver. Things that you can pull at, just stats and facts and figures that you can have at your command so that you can feel comfortable that you're with a great company. You're with a company that has chosen to do things the right way, even in the face of some difficulty at some point. But one of the greatest features is we always pay 50%. I want to emphasize that so that you understand I'm not saying as much as 50% or up to 50%. You will want to watch out for those words as you talk with your friends and neighbors about other opportunities out there. Because it's very simple to say, and I've heard this from other companies, oh, we pay up to 58%. Oh, no, my plan pays as much as 59%. Well, when someone says that, they're basically counting on not really having to pay that much. And the reality is substantially lower.
Yes.
We're not here to throw stones or cast aspersions. The reality is we pay 50%. And others would like to be able to pay that much, or actually the reality is they don't want to pay that much because they like paying less because the company themselves makes more.
You can't count on what you can't count. And Dave, the unfortunate reality is that there are many companies out there that pay in the 20%, in the 30% range. You know, the air starts to get richer once you get into the 40% plus. At 50% the air, and that's a bona fide 50%.
Correct.
That's not as much as.
Yep.
And that, when you're doing your due diligence as a new business owner to build your confidence in our compensation plan, learn that fact because there is a difference. As much as 60% does not mean 60%. It means well south of 60%, probably more in the 30s.
I have a sweet wife who, when she goes to a sale that says, I could save us as much as 80%, I know she's not going to save us 80%. It's going to cost me a lot more than I wanted it to up front. But when you say that, at the as much as or the up to, that's one of those qualifier words that means beware of what follows because it's not going to really be that good. So when we say we pay 50%, what that means is in our compensation plan, if you reach the level of 5K, for example, the compensation plan will pay 5 levels of commissions. Now, that's a standard. That's the monthly unilevel payout. But that 5 levels might come from as far away as 10, 11, 12, 20 levels if a certain number of people don't qualify. So in XANGO, if someone doesn't qualify, the money rolls up or is compressed. I love the phrase dynamic compression because it seeks out. It doesn't say, well, I guess we end up having to pay this person. No, we're paying the next person. We're finding the next level that qualifies so that our 50% is paid in full. In other companies, if someone doesn't qualify, the company says, thank you very much, and it breaks away. It belongs to the company again, and there are people who have done the same work, brought in the same people, are encouraging the same amount of sales, but if the right person doesn't qualify in the right spot for whatever reason, the company just pulls that money back out and says, no, your 5 levels were paid, that's all you get. So we're excited. Learn about those terms, 50% payout, dynamic compression, all those things are going to serve you well. Now, here's how the company gets growing. It starts with the way that you probably found out about XANGO. Someone had a great experience with the product or products. Maybe they had a great experience with the compensation, and they're saying, you know what, I've got to share about this. I've got to talk. Or they're feeling good, and somebody just asks them, you look great. What's changed? How are you doing whatever it is you're doing? And those people are obviously glad to say, I'm with this great new company. I've been drinking this XANGO juice. I feel this, and this. It's done this for me. My household is this. My family's feeling like this. And you naturally want to share good news. It's in our nature. If I see a good movie, I was just telling Gordon before the call today, I watched a great production of a Hamlet presentation over the weekend. I'm telling him about it. I'm sorry, but William Shakespeare's estate is not paying me a dime for that. But I love the show. I love the presentation of it. So we see something or experience something great, and we want to share it. We
were actually late buzzing in on the call because Dave was very excitedly telling me, and I take Dave's advice on certain movies and whatnot, so I was writing things down. But it's true. We rang in late because we were buzzing about a movie.
Yeah, and it's a natural phenomenon. If you have a good experience, you want to share it. Well, we found a way to reward those ways of sharing, and we call it, it starts with a one-on-one presentation. maybe just some basic, simple information. Maybe you're meeting in someone's home, you're meeting at a coffee shop or a Denny's or at a diner, and you sit across the table and you're diagramming something on a napkin, or you're bringing your bottle of juice or any of the other products and saying, try this, see what it does for you. And then you follow up a little while later, you invite the people who helped you find out about it, and you spread that word. Then you're graduating to a bigger gathering. Maybe you've got 40 or 50 people who are going to meet at maybe a hotel conference room. We're going to have, someone's going to call in. You're on Skype all the time. You're on FaceTime. We're calling into these home meetings and hotel meetings to give a presentation, to give a validation of what the company is, how it works, what it means to people. And again, we're over 12 years in. Mm-hmm. This was not Joe and Gordon and Aaron saying, oh, let's build this for 6 months and then we'll let it go by itself. 12 plus years in, you guys are on it day by day, week by week, phone calls, conference calls, world travel. How many countries did you visit last year? Can I throw that at you really quick? Do you have any idea?
Gosh, I don't know. A lot. We're in 43, but I'm trying to think how many I visited. Not 43. I probably visited.
High teens.
Yeah, probably. High teens. Yes.
Yeah. And we do that because we love this company. We talk about the great way the products are changing lives and the compensation is changing lives. If you don't have one of those two things, you don't have much of a company. You don't have much of an opportunity. We've got both. So we roll forward. We've got these hotel meetings, and then we have regional events where we get together with a bigger group of us. We were just in Las Vegas, or Long Beach, just a couple of months ago. We did a quarterly event there that felt like a regional because we were drawing people in from all over. In fact, we had people from Trinidad and Tobago come in. We had people from Ukraine come in. Oh my! Yeah. So awesome. And then this year, the year of Rush, the XANGO Rush Convention happens this year, September 9th through the 12th. This is the biannual, which to me means every other year. I apologize if I'm off in some description there, but every other year we do a XANGO International Convention. 2015 is the year. And that sounds actually a little weird. This year is convention. Last year was easy. Oh yeah, convention's next year. It's this year. It's happening this year, and we're only 9 months away, and the excitement is palpable. We've already outgrown our first book space.
Yes.
I want to be careful how we say. We're having room for everybody, all right? If you got tickets, still plan on coming. In fact, we're going to make it even bigger and better than we had planned because of the phenomenal response so far. But remember, talk about XANGO, talk with your friends, talk with the people who introduced you, whether it's by product or by compensation plan. And when you come to a XANGO event, and you have my word, everybody on this call who has been to a XANGO event will give a rousing endorsement of a XANGO event. Founders speak. We have music, we have games, we have prizes, we have giveaways, we have keynote speakers, including this year Robert Kiyosaki, international expert on budgeting and finance and opportunity. Great fan of the industry, Robert Kiyosaki is. Talks about building networks and how it is the true, simple way for people to get ahead in life. It is the one way that doesn't require age, doesn't require education. You don't have to be a 24-year-old whiz kid at math. You could be a 72-year-old whiz kid at nothing but, I was going to make something up and it's going to be horrible. You could be...
Self-hypnosis.
Yes, you could be that. But you don't have to have a certain amount of education. You don't have to be a certain sex. You don't have to be a certain age. If you're 18 and you have a basic command of your home language and you can taste and enjoy and try products, you can have success in this business. So plan on the September 9th through 12th convention. XANGO Rush will be in Las Vegas. Nothing says party like Las Vegas, and then you add XANGO to that, and I think orders of magnitude just had to get registered because of how awesome it's going to be. Gordon, I have rambled so much, but I love this company. I love what you and your partners have set up, so thank you from myself and from everybody on this call for giving us this atmosphere where anything is possible, and the future is so giant and bright. So for the kickoff of the new year, 2015, Gordon Morton, founder and board member of this phenomenal company, I turn the microphone over to you.
Thank you, Dave. And I have to point out for those of you kids who are listening to Dave's voice, but you can't see him, he's doing this without notes. The sales is, if there's one quote that I love, I've shared on these calls before, is that sales is simply the transfer of emotion. A good salesperson knows their material. They listen to calls like this, they attend events, they educate themselves, and the transfer of emotion becomes easy. This is like for you, it's like a natural extension of you to talk on one of these calls. So anyway, thank you, Dave. And, it is the new year. We started with the discussion of the new year. And so I guess we got to say something about New Year's and resolutions and whatnot.
Agreed.
So we have all had a wonderful couple of weeks of figgy pudding and ham and eggnog and all the things.
Did you really?
I don't know. You were talking about Shakespeare. Okay, so I think we'd all agree that we get in a homeostasis. There's a word from, I'll have to tap into your old days in high school, homeostasis, the comfort level we get in. We got used to having the kids at home for a few weeks for those who have kids and getting our routine kind of thrown out the door and maybe eating things we shouldn't have eaten or setting our belts back a few notches. And now we have to shake off the carbohydrate hangover and get on with our new year and our businesses. For many of you, brand new businesses, brand new XANGO distributors. So, I'm going to just share something with you. I'm 47 years old. Dave and I were talking before the call that we both had these tube TVs with what are the rabbit ears? Yeah, rabbit ears, coat hangers on the top, right? And I got in Shelburne, Ontario, a whopping 3 channels. CKVR, CBC, and CFTO, okay? Those were the 3 channels if the weather was nice, you know? And then my dad got this little ring thing, so we got like UHF, and I got, Global, and then a French channel that we could, And when we were really bored, we ended up watching the French channel. But that TV, like many of you remember back in the day, that tube TV would get every once in a while it would get staticky, and suddenly you'd get like a weird line and a double effect, and you could whack it on the side of the TV, and everything would fix. It was an old RCA TV. And my dad had a book, I remember growing up, called A Whack on the Side of the Head. And it was basically, kind of along the same lines, a reset. And we're going to have a little reset here at the end of the call to start off our 2015 so we can shake off the wonderful bad habits we got during the holidays and start our new year off right. So, I have young kids still, and we read our stories at night, and Three Little Pigs is one of them that they love, and I do the accents and everything. But I read a little thing recently. It was called Success Principles of the Three Little Pigs, and I thought it was awesome. And it said that the third little pig wasn't successful just because he stumbled on success. He wasn't lucky, okay? The third little pig planned ahead. He expected challenges, and he allowed for contingencies, and that was the reason he was successful. Essentially, basically, starting out with a plan in mind. So you're starting your new years, and for many of you, your new XANGO businesses, and so I'm going to give you a few ways to start the new year off right. What do you want from 2015? Ask yourself that. Is it dreams, peace of mind, health, travel, whatever it is? I want you to put that in your mind, and let's start the year off with some resolutions that we can all do. A couple things that we can do as a group to-do list as a XANGO nation. So for those of you who are brand new to XANGO, this is a great way to start. For those of you who are just trying to shake off the holidays and reset your 2015, here's what we're going to do. A couple of fun little assignments to finish off our call here. Number 1, inoculate yourself with positive words in 2015. Inoculate, which is a bad word in health and nutrition. Ask my parents. But inoculate yourself with positive words. Read something positive every day. And I'm going to give you something you can start your day off with tomorrow. This week, for the first time in my life, I came across this. It's called the Optimist Creed. And there's probably a few of you on the line that have heard it. But I've never heard it. And I'm going to post it on my Facebook tonight, and so you don't even have to look for it. Mine has, the one I'm reading off here, has butterflies and like rainbows and stuff on it, because it's from my wife's Pinterest. Okay, the Optimist Creed, here it is. You ready for this? It's pretty great. It was written in 1912. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind, to talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet, to make all your friends feel like that there is something worthwhile in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think only the best, to work for only the best, to only expect the best, to be enthusiastic about success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past, to press on to greater achievements of the future, to wear a cheerful expression at all times and give a smile to every creature you meet, to give so much time in improving yourself that you will have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble, to think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words but in great deeds, to live in faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best that is in you. I thought that was an amazingly profound little document.
Wow.
I know.
Phenomenal.
Written by Christian Larson, who is, I found out, is largely considered one of the fathers of the positive thinking movement that we all enjoy. So, I'm going to put that on my website. Inoculate yourself with positive words. That's a great way to start. So tomorrow's reading material will be available on my Facebook site tonight. I'll try to get one without the rainbows and stuff.
That's a great thing just to repeat to yourself every day.
It is. It's a great mantra.
Great way to
start the day. You start your day off with that every day in 2015, you're going to have a great year.
Love it.
So number 2, identify your support group. Okay? Upline leaders, calls like this. It's support systems that you can use for your new XANGO business or your 2015 business. Books, meetings. Dave mentioned convention. You put it on your calendar, your dream board this year that you are going to be in Las Vegas. All the cool kids will be there. Okay? So identify your support systems in your life. Number 3, get some goals. Write down this little fun sentence. Dave and I did this on a recording the other day. If money were no object, ... and you fill in the blanks. And then parse it up into small, medium, and large goals for 2015 and start knocking down some of those big mouth promises you've had to yourself. Number 4, learn the difference between reasons and results. I came across this a guy named Dr. Robert Anthony, and he talks about 2 things in life, reasons and results, and reasons simply don't count. Reasons don't count.
Wow.
At the end of your year, you want to count your results, not the reasons. And, we do things. We have our promotions, or like we just had our triplicate challenge, and I had so many people proud of their results that we pinned, and I had a lot of people also give me a lot of reasons why they chose not to do it. And reasons versus results. Learn to identify in your own life the things that you try to reason your way out of, and gun for results. And I'm going to finish off, Dave, with just a plug for our new wonderful Dream Bottle. We have 3 bottles that you'll be receiving this month in your ADP. 2 bottles that you'll be. Dave is correcting me. There are 3 bottles, but you will receive 2 different ones in your ADP this month. I'm sorry if you're ringing in from one of our English-speaking other countries that may not have it in this month's ADP. But there's a picture of it I'm sure will be on the web right here. One of them that you'll get in your ADP this month is called the Dream Bottle. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
It looks like some awesome hippie tie-dye awesomeness. And it says Dream. And on the back, it says, the inspiration for and realization of the life you always wanted. What an amazing way to start 2015, to look at a bottle like that. And I'm going to quote Bono here, because it was something I heard him say once on a New Year's Eve recording. And he said, Happy New Year. The only limits are the limits of your imagination. Dream out loud at full volume. What an amazing way to start the new year. So Happy New Year to everybody who rang in today. I have my hand on my temple right now, and I can tell you right now, we are going to have a good year. 2015 is going to be excellent.
Yep.
And we have some very exciting announcements leading up to convention, and that will be made at convention. So Happy New Year. Thank you for inviting me on the call today, Dave, and for all those who rang in.
Thank you, Gordon. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you and to share in your energy and your spirit the passion you have for the success of the distributors, because you and your partners know the distributor's success always comes before your own. And when they're successful, the company is successful. So that's a great mindset to have. I love the optimism quotes. I'm going to close out the call with a couple of announcements. You might want to, and these are simple to follow up with if you call our 1-877-GO-XANGO number. 1-877-GO-XANGO. They'll have all the information for you. Find out about the Network Marketing Business Journal. We are the spotlight company for the issue coming out. I think we're only about a week and a half away. So the Network Marketing Business Journal comes out soon. We've got a special offer on reprints and leads that we will share with people. And in fact, we will take a random orderer, someone who orders within the next 24 hours. We will track those orders and we will draw one at random to double their order at no cost to them. So they're going to pay for their order. We're going to match that order with another 200 reprints and 50 leads that come with it. So get excited for the Network Marketing Business Journal. Also, we just closed out a couple of months in a row of what we call the Holiday Hundreds campaign, where if you sponsored a certain number, we would pay you. Now, this is with an order, so it's all based on movement of product. That's got to be critical mention. And anytime we talk about the company, when people are purchasing product, we want to reward the people helping them purchase. So we're extending that campaign. The Holiday Hundreds, we're going to give it a new name, obviously, because I don't think there's a President's Day Hundreds equivalent. Benjamin Franklin wasn't a president, so we can't lock that in, even though it's 100.
MLK. That's a holiday, right?
MLK, yes. We'll find something that we'll tie it in with the kingly life that you lead, that extra 100.
Oh, you're reaching.
We'll figure it. Something will get there. But the Holiday Hundreds campaign is extending. The grand holiday season, wherein we paid $1,000 to the best experience that month. We've already had, I think we have 8 of the 10 spots already filled. So awesome. And then the Simply Rush campaign. That is where anyone you sign up to XANGO, if you will have them order their convention ticket, their XANGO Rush ticket, that ticket is available for just $20 and we'll waive the $35 fee. So the actual retail price of convention now is $129 US. We're knocking that down to $20 for a new sign-up, and we're erasing the $35 sign-up fee. So there you have it. We're excited to have you with us. Thanks for being on this call, and we will talk to you coming up in the January 20th event. Will be here on this very same phone line, same number you called in on. January 20th is the third Tuesday call, and that'll be again 4 p.m. Mountain Time. That's to get growing. We'll hit specifically on some business building tips, some great personal use experience by leaders in the field who are making it happen so that you can incorporate these things into your own business. Thank you. Adam just pointed out we are recognizing the winner for the Network Marketing Business Journal who has placed the order. Now, is this just one random that we drew?
Last month they ordered a holiday pack.
That's right. We ordered the holiday pack and we were going to give this. Pegs Weber wins from last month.
Congratulations.
And I think she wanted to hear you say her name.
Congratulations, Pegs Weber.
That's magical. Gordon Morton just called out Pegs Weber. And mine doesn't count because I'm just blathering on all the time. But Gordon Morton just recognized Pegs Weber, Network Marketing Business Journal winner from last month. We'll do the same thing again this month with the first person, one of the random drawings from the next day's worth of orders coming in. So thanks, everybody. Call 1-877-GO-XANGO. Talk to your upline, your sponsor, a neighbor, anyone you can. Learn whatever you need to about the company. We're here to share it with you. We're excited for this 2015, the year of XANGO Rush. We're rolling it out, and it's going to be phenomenal. Thanks, Gordon.
Take care.